Hello and welcome back to my next episode here of Becoming Your Own BFF. And, here's how these things go. I was all ready to talk about a subject, which I'll probably talk about next week, unless something else comes up. But, I don't like to plan these too far in advance, and I don't ever plan what I'm going to say. I just kind of talk off the cuff about whatever topic I choose. And I was all ready to go. And then all of a sudden, Kat, who is the community manager of Club 528, who just is an amazing human being and does such a spectacular job. I am so grateful that she came into my life and came into my world of what I want to create here. And she's just doing such an outstanding job. And she found this article that was written by a researcher from Harvard. And what it talked about was how we get so caught up in valuing ourselves based on other people's opinions, that we base our self-worth on what other people think of us. And I want to talk about that because that's a main theme throughout everything that I do, my book, my workshops, my lectures, my coaching, about how to not let other people influence us into how we feel about ourselves. It's such a horrible trap that we get into, and it almost becomes a habit after a while. And I really believe that it's a habit that needs to be broken if we're really going to build self-esteem and feel better about who we are and where we fit in the world. Because I remember the days when I'd walk down the street and a perfect stranger would just kind of look at me weird. And I think, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? And, I find a mirror, check my hair. And do I have anything between my teeth? And it could have been that he was on the phone and someone said something and he just looked that way. Or maybe he looked over my shoulder and something looked strange. But I would always find a way to take that personally. Or someone would laugh and I think, oh my God, are they laughing at me? I used to get so caught up in what other people thought of me that I totally lost track of who I was. And it took a long time to get that back. So in building self-esteem, letting go of other people's opinions and putting importance on that, it's really important to do. So how we do that is a number of steps. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while. It's practice. And it's just like if you wanted to run a marathon, you don't just wake up one day and decide, oh, I'm going to go run a marathon. You have to train and work towards it. First, run a mile or walk a mile and take your time and build your strength, and you'll have setbacks and move forward. So every part of building self-esteem is like that. If you expect a quick fix, you have to let that go. There is no quick fix to building self-esteem. There is no quick fix in changing the way we view ourselves or how we value ourselves. But it's important to keep in mind what we want. What do we want to have happen? What I want to have happen is that I don't let other people's opinion affect my self-worth. I have my opinion determine my level of self-worth. And the way that I do that is also a situation will come up, and the way I handle it is like, is that the way I handled it before? Did I do that better than I did it before? Did I do it worse than I did because maybe I'm having an off day today? So I compare me with me. I compare me with me from last week, from last month, from last year. And I'm always looking to improve who I am because I'm not perfect by any means. I mean, I think perfection is an illusion. And what I realized a while ago, that if perfection is your goal, you lose your humanity, because part of the human experience is to embrace our imperfections and just let us be who we are. I mean, is your best friend perfect? Of course not. But you accept your best friend for being who they are because there's a lot of value there. So that's why what I talk about is you becoming your own best friend. So you start talking to yourself that way, and you start basing your self-worth on what you think of yourself rather than what other people think of you. And when you start raising self-esteem, you start to think better of yourself. And it's so cool how that works. And there's so many tools that you can use in order to build that. One of them, one of my favorite things to do is journal. Journaling is such a beautiful tool. And, oh my God, I had this thought. I haven't had this thought in a very long time. When I first started journaling, it was, oh man, probably at the beginning of my sobriety. I think I was probably like 6 months or 9 months sober, maybe a year. And I remember my therapist said to me, Randy, I think it would be a good idea for you to journal. And I said, journal? Girls journal? I'm not going to journal. That's for girls. And he's like, no, Randy, journaling is for people who want to get better and feel better about who they are. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to write. He said, just get an old notebook and just write anything. I don't care what you write or how much you write, but every day for the next 2 weeks, I want you to write something down. Don't care how much or what you write, just something every day. And I remember the first night, it's like, fine, I'll journal. And I found an old notebook from an old class and from college, and I opened it up. I tore out the notes, and there were still like, a bunch of pages left. And I'm sitting there staring at the blank page with a pen in my hand. It's like, oh, what do I write? I don't know what to write. Oh, he said it doesn't matter what I write or what I write. This is easy. So my first journal entry is, I don't know what to write. And I was done. And I moved on for the rest of my day. And the next day, I thought this is going to be even easier. I still don't know what to write. And that was my second journal entry. And the third day, I still don't know what to write. And I'm really angry at Charlie for making me do this. And then the next day, I'm really mad that I still have to do this. It's such a waste of my time. And, today and all of a sudden, all this stuff started to pour out of me. And I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if it was day 4 or day 8. I don't know. But all of a sudden, all these things just started pouring out of me. And these things that I was sad about and angry about and hurt about. And it just poured out of me. And I think maybe I even had a tear in my eye back then, although I was too cool to cry back then. Today, I cry at Hallmark commercials. I cried at a McDonald's commercial one time. But anyway, so I started using journaling as a way to feel better and to get all that stuff that was inside of me, just get it out. And one of my analogies, I use this with my coaching clients sometimes when I tell them to start journaling. I say it's kind of like, that feeling when you have to throw up, but you don't want to because it's so gross and disgusting and you don't want to do it. But once you do it, you feel better afterwards. That's what journaling is like. It's like you have all this stuff inside that just you feel like it needs to come out, but you don't know what's going to happen if it does. Like when I started dealing with my sadness, I thought if I start crying, I'm never going to stop. I'm going to cry for weeks, years. But you know what? I didn't. I cried for a little bit, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes. Yeah, probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then it stopped and I felt better. And anytime we do these new things, these new activities, that's the feeling. We feel like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. Once we do, we feel better. And it's funny, when we moved here to Florida a few years ago, I had this duffel bag and I was wondering what's in that duffel bag. And I opened it up and it was all this stuff from when I was younger. And all of a sudden there were all these stacks of notebooks. And I was like, oh my God, those are my journals. And I started opening them up and I was reading them. And I would date them. I put what date they were. And there were some from like 1987 and 1989. And I remember reading these and it brought back all those memories, like how sad I was, how angry I was, how I was so confused about what I was supposed to do and where I was supposed to go. I mean, back then, I had just gotten back into college and I didn't know what I wanted to study. I was a psych major. I guess I'll finish my psychology degree, but I don't know what I want to do with it. And I was so confused and had no idea and had all this anger inside and I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm reading about all this stuff and I started crying again because I realized how much pain I used to be in and how much I've grown since then. I mean, if you would have told me back then, Randy, just keep on this path and keep doing this. Because if you keep going, you're not just going to have your bachelor's degree, you're going to get your master's degree and you're going to become a counselor and you're going to help so many people. And then you're going to get a job at a university. You're going to start working on university campuses. And then you're going to become a professional speaker. You're going to travel all around the country. And you're actually, I spoke in Canada one time, so I can officially call myself an international speaker. Yeah, I know that counts, right? Yeah, it counts. If you would have told me back then that my journey and my path was going to be this extraordinary, I don't think I would have believed you. So, for those of you who are just starting this journey of self awareness, self discovery, finding new ways to define yourself and discover yourself, just know that you're at the beginning of this. You know, sometimes when you're at the starting line, you don't see the end line and you don't know the adventures that are coming your way. You are in for such a treat if you just stay on this. And yes, there's pain along the way. Absolutely. I'm not going to tell you that it's all roses along the path. You know, even a rose has its thorns. Ooh, that was good. But just know that it's worth it in the end. I mean, here I am today with all my experience after everything I've done, living in this amazing house. Look at this amazing studio that I have here, and I get to do a podcast and a YouTube channel where people feel inspired and I get to help them through my words. And I like to think that I help people through my actions because I actually believe that I walk my walk and don't just talk my talk. The gratitude that I feel today, it's hard to put into words. This journey, this path is so worth it. And it's time to start giving yourself a break. Again, when I started treating myself more like a friend than a bully, all of a sudden I started giving myself a break. When I made a mistake, I made a mistake. You know, when things would happen, it's not, oh my God, I can't believe it did that, blah, blah, blah. And I would just talk in one, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I would just get down on myself and belittle myself and demean myself. And now I don't do that anymore. You know, something just happened this morning, which I don't remember the details right now. And I was thinking about, you know, when I was doing this episode, I was thinking this would be a really great example of how I used to get down on myself for stuff like this, but now I just let it go because it means nothing. It's just a little mistake that I made, and it has no impact on the rest of my life. I won't even remember it 3 hours from now. But we give so much energy to things that we don't need to give energy to, such as other people's opinions of us, such as little mistakes that we make during or throughout the day. You know, beating ourselves up for something that happened 3 days ago that's going to have no impact on the rest of our lives whatsoever. So it's time. It's time to give yourself a break. It's time to be gentle and kind to yourself, to look in the mirror and be proud of who looks back at you, because there are things to be proud of, even if it's, you know what, I'm starting on this new path and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. You know what, I'm reading books and listening to podcasts and watching programs today that are going to be to my benefit throughout my lifetime. I wish you could see from behind my eyes for 30 seconds at how good it can be, that this journey is so worth it. If I could go from where I came from to where I am today, anything is possible. And I know that. And I wish you all the best. And I am here to support and help in any way I can. You know, I mentioned our new community. Kat is the community manager over there. It's called Club 528. I think there's a thing up there. Yeah, wait, where? There. That's Club 528. And I was going to talk about that a little bit today, and I will spend a little bit of time. I didn't know what these membership things were all about. And someone was telling me that it's something that a lot of podcasters and YouTube channel people do if they want more information and more resources from the people who are doing the podcasts. So I decided that I was going to do a membership, and I wasn't sure what I was going to call it. And then all of a sudden it just came to me that I was going to call it Club 528 because I want to create a club of like-minded people who are all working on self-discovery. We might be on different parts of the continuum and at different parts of the path, but we're all doing the same thing: self-improvement, to become better people, to learn how to become our own best friends, because that is what's really important. Because sometimes when we start these journeys, we don't have supportive people in our lives. So Club 528 gives us an opportunity to meet other like-minded people. And I'm going to be doing a live Zoom call once a month where people can ask me questions about the different programs that I do and the different episodes. Like, hey, Randy, you talked a little bit about this. Can you talk more about that when we do our monthly Zoom call? Yeah, absolutely. And I have some deleted chapters from my book because I didn't want to make it too long. So I put some of them there. It's a way for me to interact with people more. And I'm really excited about doing that. And why 528? I was talking to a woman one time who's a numerologist, and she told me that one of the most powerful numbers out there is the number 528. That when you listen to music or sound at 528 hertz, it has this, it's great to meditate. I meditate to 528 hertz. And the reason is it's the number of transformation. And it's the number of personal growth. And when she told me this, that it's a number of transformation and listening to the music, I was sitting there listening to 528 going, and she's like, why do you look like that? I said, because you're talking about 528 and my sobriety date is May 28th. So 528 is a very significant number in my life. So that's why it's Club 528. So there's the story, and that's how it came to be. So another thing that I want from Club 528 is that the members are going to let me and Kat know what you want as a part of the membership, so that we're going to give you things that are going to be helpful to you. So if you want more tips and hints, we'll give more tips and hints. If you want more videos from me, I'll do more videos for you. I'm really going to be at the service of the people who are part of the membership. And then as this thing grows, and as I have some members, I'm going to be doing retreats in the future too, where, probably at the beginning, it'll be 10 to 20 people, and we're going to get together here in Orlando. And I found this spot where I want to do the smaller retreats. It's so much fun. It's this amazing resort. And we're all going to camp out there. We're going to get a big house, and we're going to all be in the house together. And then we're going to do programs and sessions and small group discussion and lectures and all kinds of different things, self-care methods, all day Saturday. And then on Sunday, we're all going to go for an inner child play date at the Magic Kingdom. We're going to go play at Disney. That's going to be part of my retreat. I'm so excited. Oh my God, you get me talking about going to Disney, and I just get all excited with doing that. And you know what? Even though I'm 64 years old, almost, in a couple of weeks, I'll be 64. I still love to play. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't feel my age. I don't think I look my age. I definitely don't act my age. Ask anyone who knows me that I don't act my age. But because I have not forgotten the importance of play. So when I talk about going to Disney, little 7-year-old Randy gets so excited. I was like, oh, we get to go play at Disney today? So I'm going to do that during my retreats. We're going to go play at Disney, and we're going to go get on Small World together, and we're going to sing the song and go on Pirates of the Caribbean, and we'll be pirates, and we'll go get food together and hang out together, because that inner child that's in us, I don't know how you lived your childhood, but mine, on the outside, everything looks so wonderful. And on the inside, I never felt good about who I was, because it was always other people's opinions that were influencing me. And I grew up having horrible ADD. And, all my teachers would, in the parent teacher conferences, Randy's so smart, but he doesn't get his work done. And my parents would say, what's wrong with you? Why can't you get your work done? And I'm like, I don't know. I look at a page and it's like, zzz, things just kind of fuzz out to me, and I don't know why. Because back then, ADD wasn't something that people talked about. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was 50 years old. And then finally, everything made sense of why I was the way that I was, because I have ADD. And then they told me about the medications, and I played with a few to find one that worked for me, and I finally did. And now, whenever I have a lot of work to do, I do my meds and I get it done. It's like I'll have a whole list of things to do, and I have it done by 11 o'clock. It's amazing. But I didn't know that. So I always felt like there was something wrong with me, and I didn't know what it was. And now I know what it is. And now there are solutions to every issue that I have in my life. And that's what I want to teach you. And I want to do that here through these weekly episodes. And I want to do that with people who are members of my community. I want to do that through the retreats that we do. Yes, I'm doing coaching with people too. I'm going to do individual as well as group coaching. So I'm here at your service to help you on your path as much as I can. So I am really grateful to be here. I really hope you got something out of this. And I will see you again next week, hopefully. And yeah, let me know how I can help you out on your journey. It's really, really worth it. So have a great rest of your week. And I wish you all the best. And now is the time for you to start treating yourself like your own BFF rather than your own worst bully. Have a good one. Peace.